Sorry. சொல்லுங்க அரவிந்த். யாரும் உங்க கிளாஸ்ல எடுக்குது? அமித் பாஷா எடுத்தாங்க. சரிங்க. பிளேஸ்மெண்ட் இது வந்து லிப்சிங் மாதிரி தான் போகும். ப்ராக்ஸி தான் நம்ம பண்ண போறோம். இப்போ நீங்க என்ன இயர் பாஸ் அவுட்? 2018. இப்போ 23 கிட்டத்தட்ட வந்துச்சு. 5 வருஷம் கேப் இருக்கு. 4 இயர்ஸ் 5 இயர்ஸ் நம்ம ஐடில எக்ஸ்பீரியன்ஸ் போட்டு தான் ஆகணும். ஓகே, ஒரிஜினல் எக்ஸ்பீரியன்ஸே இருக்கு. எவ்வளவு சேலரி நீங்க சதீஷ் சார்ட்ட பேசிருக்கீங்களா? ஓகே ஓகே. இப்போ எவ்வளவு சேலரி நீங்க வாங்கிட்டு இருக்கீங்க?
ஆஃபர் மட்டும் தான் வாங்கிருக்கேன். பட் அதான் ஜாயின் பண்ணிருக்கேன். ஆல்மோஸ்ட் இன்னும் ப்ராஜெக்ட் அவங்க ஆன்போர்டிங் டிலே ஆகிட்டு லாஸ்ட் 90 ஜாயின் பண்ண வந்து டிலே ஆகிட்டு போட்டிருக்கேன். ஃப்ரெண்ட்ஸ் ஆல்ரெடி ஜாயின் பண்ண வந்து இன்னும் ஆன்போர்டிங் தான் ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணுவோம். ஆன்போர்டிங் ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணால் டே ஆகுது.
ஓகே, இப்போ நீங்க பேசிட்டீங்க ஆல்ரெடி தனலட்சுமி கிட்ட பிடி ப்ராசஸ் எவ்வளவு அமௌண்ட் அதெல்லாம் பேசிட்டீங்க. எவ்வளவு ஃபைனலா பண்ணிருக்காங்க?
சொல்ல நான் உங்கள்கிட்ட என்ன டீட்டெயில்ஸ் சொல்லியிருக்கேன்னா, இப்போ சம் அமௌண்ட் பே பண்ணுறேன். இன்ஷூரன்ஸ் பே பண்ணுறேன். பே பண்ணிட்டு நான் என்னோட ஃபர்ஸ்ட் இன்டர்வியூ கிளியர் ஆகிட்டு எனக்கு நான் பாஸ் பண்ணி சம்திங் ஏதோ 1 hour நெக்ஸ்ட் 1 hourலேயே நான் வந்து நீங்கள் 50% அமௌண்ட் சொல்லுவாங்க ஃபர்ஸ்ட் இன்டர்வியூ. ஸோ அந்த 50% அமௌண்ட் எவ்வளோ
டோட்டல் அமௌண்ட் எவ்வளோ சொல்லியிருக்காங்க தனலட்சுமி உங்களுக்கு? 1.5. ஓகே, டாக்குமெண்ட் உங்களுதே தான். சரி, ஓகே, பரவாயில்ல. நீங்க தனலட்சுமி பேசிட்டீங்க தானே, ஃபைன் தானே. நீங்க போய் ரெஸ்யூம் ப்ரிப்பரேஷன் ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணுங்க. சதீஷ் வெளியே இருக்காரு, அவர் தான் வெளியே உட்காந்துட்டு இருக்காரு. அவர் தான் சதீஷ். யூ கேன் டாக் வித் ஹிம். ரெஸ்யூம் ப்ரிப்பரேஷன் ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணிட்டு
எனக்கு இந்த மாதிரி எந்த சிஸ்டம் மேனேஜ்மெண்ட் அதுக்கு வேண்டிய ஆஃபர் ஜாயின் பண்ண
இந்த மந்த் எண்டா ரொம்ப கஷ்டம், ரொம்ப கஷ்டம். என்ன காரணம்னா நம்ம டெட்லைன்லாம் வச்சு இதை எடுத்துட்டு போக முடியாது. ஆனா முடிஞ்ச வரைக்கும் போராடலாம். இல்ல நம்ம இமிடியேட்டா ட்ரை பண்ண பட் என்னால ப்ராமிஸ் பண்ண முடியாது. ஐ கேனாட் ப்ராமிஸ் ரைட் மந்த் எடுக்கணும். ஏன்னா இது வந்து இட்ஸ் அ ப்ராக்ஸி, இட்ஸ் அ பேக் டோர்னா அதுக்குன்னு ஒரு இது இருக்குல்ல. அப் இருக்கிற மாதிரி டவுனும் இருக்கும் திருப்பி. ஆனா அப்ப எழுந்துடலாம், டவுன் இருந்துட்டே தான் இருக்கும். ஆனா 30 நாள்ன்றது பெரிய டெட்லைன். ஒரு ஐடி கம்பெனிக்குள்ள போறதுக்கு ப்ராக்ஸி பண்ணி போறதுக்கு ரொம்ப பெரிய டெட்லைன். பட் ட்ரை பண்ணி நம்ம முடிக்க பார்க்கலாம். எங்க சைட்ல இருந்து 100-200% சப்போர்ட் உங்களுக்கு இருக்கும். இன்டர்வியூஸ் கிளியர் பண்றது மட்டும் தான் உங்க டியூட்டி. அதெல்லாம் உங்களுக்கு ட்ரைனிங் கொடுப்பாங்க. நீங்க கொண்டு வந்துட்டீங்க, ஒரு 10 நாளைக்கு 10 இன்டர்வியூ எடுத்தா நீங்க ஆஃபர் வாங்கிடுவீங்க. அது மட்டும் கன்ஃபார்ம். நீங்க போய் சதீஷ் கிட்ட பேசுங்க. பேமெண்ட் பண்ணிட்டு ரெஸ்யூம் உங்க இஷ்டம் தான். நீங்க தான் முடிவு பண்ணிக்கணும். இங்க இருந்தீங்கன்னா குட். நீங்க போயிட்டு வரேன்னா அது உங்க இன்னைக்கே முடிச்சிடாது. நீங்க இன்னைக்கு பேமெண்ட் பண்ண போறீங்கல்ல, இன்னைக்கே ஒரு ரெஸ்யூம் ப்ரிப்பரேஷன் ஆப்ரேஷன் முடிஞ்சிடும். நீங்க இருந்துட்டு 2 ஹவர்ஸ்ல கிளம்பிடுங்க, 1 ஹவர்ல கிளம்பிடுங்க. இல்ல உங்களுக்கு ஒர்க் இருக்கா? நாளைக்குலாம் வேண்டாம், இன்னைக்கே we will complete the resume and application. ஒரு நிமிஷம் சதீஷ் மட்டும் போட்டுருங்க. ஆன்லைனா கேஷ் ஆனுங்க? கார்டுனா 2% எக்ஸ்ட்ரா பேமெண்ட் பண்ற மாதிரி இருக்கும். ஸ்வைப் பண்ணா 1000. எஸ், அவங்களை கூப்பிடுங்க சதீஷ். சதீஷ் ஒரு 50,000 கார்டு போடுவார். அதனால 2% வாங்கிட்டோம். இவர் ரெஸ்யூம் ப்ரிப்பரேஷன் ஆப்ரேஷன் இன்னைக்கே முடிக்க சொல்ல. ஒரிஜினல் எக்ஸ்பீரியன்ஸ் அவங்ககிட்ட ஆல்ரெடி பேசியிருக்காரு நம்பர் அரவிந்த்ன்ற ஒரிஜினல் எக்ஸ்பீரியன்ஸ் தான். சரியா பேசி நீங்க பேசிக்கங்க. நான் கிளாஸ் இருக்கு, முடிச்சுட்டு அப்புறமா என்ன டவுட்னா என்கிட்ட பேசிப்போம். Hey guys, Am I audible? Hello.
Yes, Dinesh.
Can we start the session? So remember what we have completed, guys, the previous session?
Jenkins.
Did we complete? No, right? Only I have given the introduction. Is that right?
Yes.
Can you quickly tell me, guys? Do I start with theoretical or let's directly go with the practical? What expectation? Today, 2.5 hours we will come. We are going to take the session. Let me know. Directly we can go for theoretical or practical.
So theoretical, like why we use Jenkins.
Yes. So we'll go with the theoretical first. Okay. Okay. Let me quickly give an introduction about the Jenkins. Later, let's try to understand different configuration related to Jenkins. Maybe today and tomorrow we are going to complete the Jenkins. Right. Guys, you all know, right, how to install the Jenkins and all, how to download, how to install Jenkins on the CentOS machine, how to configure the Jenkins, the initial setups. Yes. Yes, sir.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, Dinesh.
Okay. So Jenkins is a CI/CD tool, guys. Jenkins is a CI/CD tool. What is CI and what is CD? What do you understand from the term? What is CI?
Continuous integration,
Continuous integration
and
and
continuous
continuous
deployment.
deployment.
Yes. Continuous integration and CD refers continuous deployment. Continuous deployment. In some cases, it is also called as continuous delivery. Continuous deployment and continuous delivery. Deployment and delivery both are interchangeable words, guys. Often the people, they will use the deployment and delivery. If you ask me, is there any difference between these words? Yes. We have some difference between this deployment and delivery. Let me tell you in maybe after a couple of seconds. I will tell you what is the difference between a deployment and delivery. Before that, just we will look into this word, which is continuous integration. Continuous integration. Remember, continuous integration, it is the combination of continuous integration, is the combination of continuous build with continuous testing. Continuous testing. Maybe I can tell finally only we are going to do the integration. All this term combinedly we can call it as continuous integration. Building and testing is the continuous integration. So what does it mean? What does it mean? Let me tell you one real-time scenario. Listen, suppose if you are working in an IT company, generally you will follow process, right? That we can call it as software development life cycle. When I say software development life cycle, what are the different phases we have? We have a requirement collection, we have a feasibility study, then we have a design, a development, testing, deployment, and finally we have a release. It means that maintenance. These are the different phases are available inside your software development life cycle. If you go with any model, it might be SDLC or a VB model or spiral model, agile model, any model, generally you have these 7 phases: requirement collection, feasibility study, design, development, testing, deployment, and maintenance. Here, one of the important thing is a development, right? Development. Who is doing the development? Maybe a developer. Developer, generally, they will do the development. Say, for an example, developer, they are writing some code. Maybe they are using a platform, maybe a Java. They are using the Java as a platform. And they are writing some piece of code. Say, consider they have written around 10,000 lines of code. Generally, when the developer, they have completed the development activity, maybe to develop some application. They have written 10,000 lines of code with help of a Java. Do you know this 10,000 lines of code where they will basically store? Where they will store it, guys? Who is the code repository?
GitHub.
Yes.
GitHub.
Generally, they will use the Git and GitHub, right? Git is the local repository and GitHub is the remote repository where they will have bunch of code. GitHub is a source code management tool. It's a version control system. We can able to, it is a collaboration tool, right? Every developer, they will contribute something towards the code. And do you know there are two terminologies available in the IT world, in the coding world, which is one is high level language, and another one is low level language. Do you know what is the difference between this high level language and low level language? What is high level language and low level language? What is high level language and what is low level language? Whenever, if a language is understood by human, it is called high level language. If human is not able to understand the language, then that is nothing but low level language, human readable. Who is human readable? Java is human readable. Even though it is in English, the human can easily understand the Java, Python and all. That's the reason that is high level language. Consider binary. Binary is human readable? No, right? Binary is machine readable. Binary is machine readable. Now, suppose if you are writing some program, in Java, will the server understand? Will the machine understand? No, right? The machine will never understand. The Java or Python, it don't know, right? Programming language. Java will, your machine, your server will not understand. Now, for that reason, what you need to do? You have to convert this high level language into machine readable. Maybe zeros and ones. For that, generally, in between, you will use one machine, which is called a compiler. Basically, you hear this word, compiler. What compiler will do? This will convert your high level language, which is Java program, that will convert it into maybe a binaries. Consider like it's a binaries. Who is converting this machine ununderstandable language into machine language, which is by the compiler. Generally, the compiler that will convert your Java into a bytecode or binary a code. Because then only machine can understand. System understand only zeros and ones. Server will understand only zeros and ones. Right? For that, you have to convert this code into a binary with the help of a compiler. Compiler is a tool, inbuilt tool. It is available in Java. In every programming language, there is a compiler. Compiler role is to convert your Java code into binaries. Are you getting my point?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yes.
Dinesh.
Right. So once it is completed, what is the next step in the IT world? See, developer, he has to write the code. And then he has to compile the code, thereby it will be converted into the binary, thereby machine will understand. Now, when it is successfully compiled, when I say compile, there is no compile time error. The code that you have written, it is perfectly working fine. That is called compilation. You don't have any compile time problem while writing the code. If you are running with the help of a compiler is saying 100% success means, yes, it is good. Now, what will happen in IT world? This code will be reviewed by some other developer. They will do the code review, saying that whether this guy follow the proper standard. Is there any problem with the code? It has the less complexity, everything. He will analyze the code. Suppose he has written 10,000 lines of code. The developer will say, right, hey, you can complete this code by means of 6,000 lines itself. Why are you writing this kind of complex code? Write the code, right, which should give less complexity. Along with it should give more performance. And you have written the 10,000 lines of code. That's the reason it's taking, right, 1 hour to execute. But if you write with the minimal code, it can complete within a 45 minutes. Everything, the other developer has to review. Whether the requirement, you are receiving from the client, is it matching your the code that you have written. So the code level review, which will be taken by another developer, maybe a test lead. He will do the review process. So in general, in product-based company or service-based company, they set 95% to 99%. The code should satisfy the requirement. It means that the code should be pure. There is no buggy code. So this 95 to 95%, we can call it as amplification factor. When you do the code review, the other developer should make sure whether it is giving 95% to 99% amplification factor. When I say amplification factor, the code is not having any problem. The code that written by the developer having a nice picture, and along with it, it is following the proper standard, and he has written the less number of code, it is giving the more performance. Everything should be, minimal, right? That done by another developer. So you will tell there is no warning in the code. There is no bug in the code. That is called code review process. It is not a testing. He is reviewing the code, like whether he has followed the proper standard, right? Whether if you use this particular code, your server will not crash, and it will not take too much memory from your RAM. Everything will be gathered by your other developer. So that's called amplification factor. Finally, company to company, it will vary. Some company, they will make amplification factor is 95%. Some company, they will tell 97%. Again, it is all based on the company. If you go Google definitely they will tell 99.9 or 99.8%. Company to company, it will vary. Right? So we have a code, and then developer has to compile the code in order to convert it to the binaries. And then the developer, they will do the code review, whether it is giving amplification factor from 95 to 99%. And then I already told you guys, see, for an example, suppose I'm going to use one software, WhatsApp. Basically, what we will do, we will go for App Store or maybe a Google Play Store. There we can see one file called WhatsApp. You just install it, right, in your machine. And suppose if you need a Java, you will go to the google.com where you can find the Java, and it is available in the form of different format. You can click on this and you can download. Say for an example, that I want Java in my machine. So what I can do, I will write Java download. If you type it, you will go with this Oracle website, and here you have a many versions. See, suppose if you are using, okay, let me show JDK 1.8 and go to this one. Suppose if you go with this, here we have a many version. Suppose if you are using the Windows machine, you guys can go with this executable file. If you are using the Mac machine, then you guys can go with this DMG file. And suppose if you are using the Linux machine, you can go with a different flavors are available. But tell me, how many files are available for Windows machine? For Windows machine, suppose if I'm going to install Java, how many files are available? Yes, sir. How many files? Guys, respond.
2 files.
2 or 1 file? It is no. I'm talking about 64-bit machine. How many files that my machine is 64-bit means I will go with this one, right? Aman?
Oh, okay. Sir.
If it is a 32-bit, I can go with this one based on my operating system. So I will go with this one. But Aman, do you really think like this particular file has only 1 file? No, Aman. When you click on this exe executable file, there are a developer, they have written thousands of class files. All these thousands of class files, you can find it inside this single particular file. All the thousands of class files, right? Java file they have written. Everything you can find it inside this particular executable file. But what they made the 1000 Java file or class file into one executable file. For that, they have used packaging. That's called packaging. I cannot download each and every file, right? It's very difficult. How can I download thousands of files? And I don't want to bother, right? How they have written the code and all. Only I need a Java. Suppose if you want to play some game, you will focus only on game. You won't bother about, right, how they have written code, what is the number of lines they have written, and how many class files, Java file they have written. Everything you don't need to bother, right? Yes or no?
Yeah, Dinesh.
As an end user, I need only 1 file. As an end user, I need only 1 file. That's called as packaging. In real time, developer, what they will do, they have written many Java files, they have written many files, but they will convert all those files into the single executable file. That might be executable file, or that might be a jar file, or it might be a war file, or year file, whatever it might be, or DMG file, right? Or tar file, any file. They will convert all those different files into a single executable file. If you take normal, right? Say for an example, if you are going to download some Microsoft document, you will see the executable file, right? Yes. If you go with some Linux machine, where you can see the tar file, and Mac machine, DMG file, like that, right? So even though they have written the many files, they basically converted into the single executable file. Using the single executable file, we can able to install all those files into your local machine. So that's called packaging. As a end user, as a customer, I don't know how those files and all written. I'm only concentrating how to work with it. Simple. For that, generally the developer, they will convert those files into the single executable file or single file, which is called packaging. How they are doing the packaging, that's a different story, but they are doing the packaging. So now I said, right, each and every line, they basically write the code, they will convert it to the binaries, and then there is a code review process, and then we have the packaging. Once the packaging is completed, right, then we need to install this particular package, this executable file, into some machine, right? Maybe a mobile or maybe any device. Generally, it's a production server. But before installing a product into the production server, they will install the software in the lower life cycle. What is lower life cycle? Generally, the developer, they will use an environment called dev environment. In IT company, there are many environment, guys. Dev environment, tester basically use the QA environment, and some company they will use UAT. UAT means user acceptance testing. User acceptance testing. Finally, only we have a prod environment. Before installing this particular software to the prod environment, generally they will install into lower life cycle environment, which is called dev, QA, or UAT environment. Say for an example, suppose they have written the code and that code got compiled. That code got compiled, and then you have completed the code review also. And then we have packaging also completed. It means that maybe you have got one executable file or maybe .exe file. This packaging you have to deploy into some lower life cycle environment, which is not faced by the customer. Only the authorized person they can able to access it. Say for an example, developer wants to see the application, because developer only they have written the code. They want to see the application, then they will install into dev environment, and developer they will check it. Hey, whether I have written the code, this kind of UI I got. Dev environment, it's called dev environment. And once the dev environment is completed, your tester, maybe if everything is looking fine, then developer, they will move the code from dev to QA. Now QA, QA means a tester, QA environment. This is the QA environment. It's a separate environment. In this particular separate environment, your tester, they will do the testing, like the manual testing or automation testing. You will perform like whatever the requirement that we received from the client or customer, whether it is satisfied by the developer. So he will perform testing on this in QA environment. QA environment is generally used by only by a tester. Dev environment is mostly used by the developer. Maybe a dev environment tester won't have an access. Maybe for a QA environment, developer won't have an access, like that. Again, it will vary. I cannot say, right, it's a fixed number. Company to company, it will vary. Once QA is completed, now the code will move from QA environment to UAT environment. Generally, in UAT environment, right, who will do the testing? User acceptance testing. Maybe only this particular application has given the access to only 100 users or 1000 users. Only those users, they will use this user acceptance testing for 10 days or 15 days. They will check whether everything is good. Everything, maybe not an end user, maybe from the client side, right? From the customer side. There are 100 users, or maybe a particular region only they will release it. Or but for an example, only for Chennai they will release. Again, it will vary. So here, only those user they will see like whether application is behaving correctly or not. 1 week or 2 days or 3 days, they will plan it. Suppose if everything is good, right? At the end of second day or third day, the customer, they are saying, hey, this application is looking good. It is perfectly working. No issues with respect to this functionality. If they are saying, then only that will be planned and it will be released to the prod environment. Prod means production, where the real user, they will use the application, end user, customer, P, right? This user, they will use the application. Are you getting my point? Yes or no?
Yeah, Dinesh.
Now, what is continuous integration? Still, I didn't tell that word, right? What is continuous integration? I will tell you. Listen. Suppose there is a developer. There are 3 developers. Consider dev 1, dev 2, and dev 3. There are 3 developers working on this same project. And in GitHub, we have some remote repository. Consider there is a remote repository. Inside the remote repository, there is a main branch called main branch. There is a branch called main branch. You know, right? What is main branch? In main branch only you have all the code. Now, if you ask me, will all the developer will work on this particular code on the main branch? If you ask me, no. I didn't complete this particular topic, but remember, we basically in the real time, we will not have the access to this main branch. Generally, it is a very restricted access we have. What is the meaning of this one? For an example, suppose in GitHub, we have a main branch. In main branch, we have a base code. In main branch, we have a base code for development, right? We have a base code. Now, this developer 1, right? This developer 1, he has to clone the code. He has to clone the code from the main branch, right? Main branch, he basically cloned the code. In the same way, developer 2 and developer 3 also has to clone the code from the main branch. Remember, he also basically cloned the code from the main branch. Now, in the GitHub, we have a main branch, and developer 1, developer 2, developer 3, all are, having the same code in their local machine also. Now, suppose if you are going to do some changes on this main branch, generally, the developer, they will not directly change the code in their local on the main branch. What they will do, they will create one more branch, which is called a feature branch for the developer 1. He will cut the branch, one more branch he will create it. In that particular branch, whatever the code is available on the main branch, right, the exact copy will be available. Consider like you are copying the folder and you are putting in another drive. Like that you may consider. In the same way, developer 2 also, he has to cut the branch. He has to cut the branch for developer 2. In the same way here, he has to cut the branch. You know, right? What is meant by cut? Cut means just a copy. The basic branch, it will not change. So you are just, copying the code from this main branch to another branch, which is called a feature branch or another branch. Dev 1, Dev 2, Dev 3 has their own branches. In their branches, they have a base code now. So far clear?
Yeah.
So
Now,
basically, we are creating a branch from existing main branch, right?
Exactly, correct.
So
Now the question is, suppose if we are, the developer 1 is working on this one, will it affect the main branch or not?
It won't affect, I think.
Exactly, it won't affect, correct. That's the idea behind this. Aman, are you clear?
Okay.
Now developer 1, is working for some feature. Say for an example, is working on login feature. And developer 2 is working on registration feature. And developer 3 is working on some other feature, maybe a card feature. Like that, the developer, they are working with the different features, registration feature. And once the login feature is completed, he will move that into the staging area, and then he will commit this particular repository with a local repository. In the same way, he also moved that into the staging and he has committed. And then he also moved into the staging area and then committed. Yes or no? Yes or no?
Yeah. Yes. But the thing is, like, if they will be having the whole code, right, in the future branch. So
yes,
they will
he has
bring
the old code and he has updated as well. The existing code, right,
Yeah.
got updated by the developer one.
Okay.
Yeah. Now I'll tell you. See, now developer one, basically what he will do, he has the local branch called dev1, right? He has the local branch called dev1, correct? Now, what this
Yeah.
developer one he will do, he will create one remote branch also in the GitHub. You will create a remote branch also in the GitHub, which is called name call, same dev1. And then he will push the code to this particular branch called dev1. In the same way, developer 2 also will create a remote branch which is called dev2, and then he will push the code to the GitHub. Here also he will create another branch which is called remote dev3. Then he will push the code to the remote. Thereby, it is not affected your main branch. Agree?
Yes.
Now, suppose, say for an example, this developer 1 is saying to developer 2 and developer 3, hey, please wait guys. I am going to push some modification to the main branch and then you guys pull the code from the remote. Are you getting my point? Yes or no?
Repeat that.
So what I'm saying, developer 1 is saying to developer 2 and developer 3, hey, do not push the code to remote main. Just wait for a couple of minutes. I am going to push my changes to main branch and then you guys pull the code to your local. Are you clear?
But sir, each branch is isolated from each other, right?
But I'm going to affect the main branch now. When I affect the main branch, developer 2 and developer 2 has to get the code, right? The recent code, the latest code.
Now the
Aman,
main branch
if you
is
make
getting
any changes on dev2 and dev3, will the dev1 can able to get the code from dev2 or dev3? Only they can able to get the code from main, correct?
Yes.
Yes. Are you clear now?
Yes.
Yes, clear.
So
Now the
now,
changes we are making on the main branch.
yes.
Dev one is making changes on the main branch.
Yes, but still developer 1 is not doing changes. Now I'm going to do. But we have to follow some process. I cannot directly change the main branch. What I need to do, from my branch, dev1, as a developer, I need to raise something called PR. PR means pull request. I have to raise something called pull request. From the GitHub, there is an option called pull request. It means that what is the meaning of this one? Generally, a main branch is under the control of, say, consider a leader. Team lead is available. In a company, if there is a team leader, they will have the control on main branch. For them, you have to raise the PR, pull request. Thereby, your team lead, right? They will review the code. Once that guy, happy with that particular code, then he will approve it. Then only your dev1 will be merged with your master. Now dev1 and main will be under sync. Are you clear? Guys, this thing I will teach you practically, as of now understand theoretically.
Yeah.
Everyone?
Understood then.
Now tell me dev2, what he has to do? What he has to do?
Even he has
Pull
to follow
request.
the same thing.
No, before
PR.
that,
Pull request.
He has to
yeah, no pull request.
download the data.
You don't have updated data. Then he has to pull first. Or
Yeah.
pull request,
Pull.
pull.
Yeah.
Getting the code from remote to local. Now he has updated code. Then you have to raise what? Pull request.
Pull request.
After pull request, your leader, he will approve. Thereby, you have
March.
updated code in the master, right? Main, correct? And the developer 3 has to pull the code and raising the PR, going to lead, approve, then developer 3 code equal to main branch. Are you clear with the process?
Clear.
See, now I will tell you what is meant by CI. CI, continuous integration. Say for an example, in a company, there are 3 or 4 developers, they are currently working. All those developers, they are working for the same project only, same project. Whenever, if you do some changes in your code, as the developer 1, what you need to do? You need to push the code to the particular branch. You have to push the code to the particular branch, and then you have to integrate this particular code. You have to integrate this particular code to what? To again main, right? In the same way, if other developer are there working, once again they have to push the code to that particular branch, and then all the code at the end of the day, it should be integrated to the main. Whenever you do some changes in your code, you have to push the code to a particular branch, and then you have to raise the PR, and you are merging automatically to the main. This is called as continuous integration. Here, everything I am doing manually. I am writing the code, doing the changes, moving to the staging area, moving to the local repository, pushing the code to remote branch, raising the PR, merging it to the master. Everything is manual. It's a manual effort. But this entire process, right? This entire process, I am going to automate. This entire process, I am going to automate. How I am going to automate? With the help of a tool called Jenkins. That's the reason Jenkins, we can call it as continuous integration. That's the reason Jenkins, we can call it as continuous integration. I don't want to do this operation manually. Everything I need to do in the automation. For that, I need a tool which is called Jenkins. Only your job is how to write the code. Only your job is pushing the code to the GitHub. That's it. Rest of the portion will be taken care by your Jenkins. Doing the compilation, doing the package, deploying to the particular branch, merging to the master, everything we are going to do in the automation way. That's nothing but continuous integration. Generally, guys, building refers. What is meant by building? Continuous building means after writing the code, you are doing compile, and then once you have written the compilation, basically what we will do? We will do the code review. Once the code review is done, generally maybe a unit testing will be performed by the developer. Each and every features, they will test it. That is called unit testing. Generally, unit testing is not done by the tester. It is done by the developer. Once the unit testing is done, there is a packaging. Once the packaging is done, we will deploy that into the lower lifecycle environment. Say for an example, QA environment. In QA environment, Selenium, basically they will use some tool, tester. Generally, Selenium, they will use it for doing the automation testing. So this complete process, right? This complete process. It's a CI and CD. So from here to here, it is a CI. Or in order to understand very easily, remember, you are making some changes in your local code, and you then push the code to the GitHub. What automatically Jenkins will do? Jenkins will execute that particular script, and then it will be deployed into your lowest lifecycle environment, and Selenium script will automatically run. That is nothing but continuous integration. Once again, I will repeat. As a developer, you are making some changes in your code. Manually, you have to push the code to the GitHub. Now, continuous integration tool, Jenkins play a role. What is the role he will play it? Jenkins basically execute your script. Whatever the code that you have written, right? That he will execute. It means that compilation, unit testing, packaging, and then it will deploy it into lower lifecycle environment. And we used to perform Selenium automation script. See, even though your CI is nothing but continuous build and continuous testing, we no need to worry about this continuous testing. Generally, it will be taken care by an automation tester. A quality engineer, they will take care. Our portion is only related to the continuous build. Now, this process, we are going to automate. How we are going to automate? With the help of a Jenkins tool. Are you clear with what is continuous integration?
Yeah, Dinesh.
If you ask me what is the difference between continuous delivery versus continuous deployment, initially itself I said both are interchangeable terminology. But the difference you might understand, a delivery refers to deploying your code changes into the lower lifecycle environment. When I say lower lifecycle environment, it might be a dev or QA or UAT environment. In that particular environment, there is no end user, right? Only we are using. So here we will deploy into our application to check whether it is properly working or not. That is nothing but continuous delivery. Continuous delivery, here, there is no human interaction. Basically, we are deploying our code, with the manual intervention, right? Basically, we are deploying the code to lower life cycle. But production, production, we will not deploy in the with the help of Jenkins. We will deploy in the manual. Manually, we will deploy the code changes into the production environment. Because production environment is the real user, they will use it. Suppose if you make some mistake or if your code is not good, obviously, you will get the negative feedback from the customer. Then you should be very conscious, right? That's the reason. Till here too, this QA or maybe UAT environment, everything, you have automated. But once QA Selenium script is saying, right, there is no bug. If you are finally it is saying there is no bug, then manually, you have to deploy the code changes to a production environment. Till the lower lifecycle environment, we have automated. Production environment, we haven't automated. 70% IT company, they haven't, automated your production environment. They will manually deploy the code changes. Because if there is a problem, who will affect? Real user will affect, company will affect. We will get the negative feedback. Okay. But you have to remember, from the lower life cycle environment to the prod environment. Suppose if you want to deploy here, in between, you need to get the approval, guys, from the higher management. As a DevOps engineer or maybe AWS engineer, or you are the developer, whatever it might be, you have certain steps you have to follow, you have to get the approval. In IT term, we have one term called change request. Change request. It means that we have added some piece of code in our local server. It is perfectly working fine. And this is using this many resources. And this is going to do this kind of changes in our production server. You have to send this change request to your higher management. In a company, there is a higher management, right? There you need to send some email, or maybe some people, they will use a tool called Jira. Maybe you hear this word, Jira. Jira is available as a ticketing tool. Basically, if you are facing any problem with the Swiggy or Zomato, you will raise the ticket, right? In the same way, if there is a change request, if you want to add some new code, even it's a minor code or a major code. If you want to update in your production server, directly we don't have an access. We have to raise the ticket with help of this Jira or ServiceNow. These are the different tools are available company to company. Again, they are using. So you have to send this change request. And when you do these changes, what are the different places it will impact? What is the security threatening and what kind of resources that you are going to utilize? Everything you have to write it and you have to raise the ticket to your higher management. And you have to get the different level of approvals from different people. Once they agreed, they approved through the Jira ticket, then finally they or you have to deploy these changes into your production environment. Then if your software production environment, if it is it, that is called a continuous deployment. Continuous deployment. So continuous delivery, it is something where you have a manual intervention, you have to get the approval and you have to deploy to the production. But some company like Google, like Amazon, Flipkart, those companies, they don't have a time to, approve this kind of information and all. What they have done, everything they have automated. Everything they have automated, from building to, from testing to, from integration and the deployment, delivery, low life cycle environment, production environment, everything they have automated. Once you made some changes, when you push the code to GitHub, that's it, completed. After 1 hour, after 2 hours, you can able to see that particular changes in your production server. That's nothing but a continuous deployment. So continuous deployment is a process, basically where we don't need a manual intervention. But if you go with a continuous delivery, there is a manual intervention. There is a manual intervention. Are you clear what is the difference between delivery and deployment? Guys?
Yeah,
Understood, Dinesh.
So in continuous delivery, till the lower lifecycle environment, everything got automated with help of a Jenkins. But to the production server, we will manually deploy the code changes, not automation way. But if we go with the continuous deployment, where every phases or every item you have automated till the production environment, right? That's nothing but a continuous deployment. Both are the process. Again, it will be used in the IT company. Again, guys, Jenkins is one of the crucial part as a DevOps engineer. If you ask me why Jenkins, there are different tools are available in the market, but still why company they are using the Jenkins? Why the company they are using the Jenkins? The reason because Jenkins is open source. Yes, correct. One of the main benefit with respect to Jenkins is the open source. But apart from this, Jenkins is a older tool, guys. Oldest tool. Jenkins is the oldest tool still in the market. You know, right? Java came into the market in the year of 1991. Python came into the market in the year of 1989. But Google introduced a language called Go. Yes, still it is grooming, but most of the company, they are using the Java, Python, JavaScript. It's the oldest language. When we go with the oldest tool, we will get a good community support. That's the primary reason why Jenkins is famous in all the company, because Jenkins having good community support. Suppose if you are facing any error with the Jenkins, you no need to worry in the Google forum or LinkedIn forum, Facebook forum. If you raise that particular thing, you will get the answer. Even though it is an open source, it don't have a good community or own community, but there are many community, they already faced that kind of a problem. You will get the solution as soon as possible. So Selenium is the one of the best tool in the market. Sorry, Jenkins is one of the best tool in the market, which provides a good community support. So whenever if you face any problem, already might be some person they have faced that issue. So, and along with that, Jenkins is it's one of the I can say it's a compatible tool. It can be work with a different platform. So if you are the Windows user or Linux user, Mac user, you can go with any platform because Jenkins is purely running on top of Java, right? When Jenkins is running on top of your Java, it's a platform independent. When I say platform independent, you guys can go for any platform. It might be a Windows platform or Linux platform or Mac platform. Anywhere you can use this particular Jenkins. That's the another key important point with respect to Jenkins. And Jenkins requires only one and only Java. There is no other dependency. Some tools, you know, that requires many support, right? That requires many tools support. If you go with some platform and all. But if you go with the Jenkins, Jenkins requires a support only from Java. If you have a Java in your machine, simply you can go with the Jenkins. If you have a Java in your machine, that's it. Only one dependency, which is called Open JDK. Either if you need a open source device, Open JDK you can go for. But company and all, they will go for JDK Enterprise, Java Enterprise. That is the paid version for Java. Maybe due to some security reason, IT company or IT world, they will use JDK Enterprise. But if you go with maybe a practice point of view or maybe as a developer, you guys can go with the Open JDK itself. And along with that, Jenkins provides more plugins. That's another primary reason. See guys, Jenkins itself, we cannot complete the automation. Jenkins help us to complete the automation. Then you need to integrate different tools, guys. Jenkins should be integrated with the Ansible later, Terraform, Maven, GitHub, right? So you have to integrate different tools, Docker, Kubernetes. Then Jenkins should give the support, right? Then only I can be able to integrate with some third-party tool. I cannot integrate all the third-party tool, right? That is a security violation. Then of course Jenkins should provide the appropriate support for integration. Yes, Jenkins providing thousands of plugins. Using those plugins, we can easily integrate with the other third-party item, which helps for your CI/CD. Right? So if you ask me which point is very important, plugin is one of the top idea or one of the greatest value added by your Jenkins. So Jenkins providing more plugin support, thereby we can easily integrate with any third-party tool. And along with that, here 95% of a task we are completing with the help of GUI itself, graphical user interface. So only 3 or 4% we are going with the command line, terminal. But apart from this, almost 95% of a task we can easily complete with the help of your Jenkins GUI itself. You know, right? We are basically launching the GUI. There only we can complete all our stuff. So these are all the primary reason why people they are going with the Jenkins. So Jenkins is one of the oldest tool. It is an open source tool. It has a good community support. It requires one and only Java. It has a more plugin support, and all this thing we are completing with help of a single UI where we are completing all our tasks, and along with the Jenkins is a platform independent. So why Jenkins is a continuous integration tool? Because as a developers, I have to write the code. I can push the code to GitHub. That's it. Jenkins will take care the building, compilation, execution, right? Everything. Performing the testing, deploying into server, everything will be taken care by Jenkins itself. So that's the reason it is called continuous integration, because we are all working or living in the world of agile world. Whenever if it is an agile, right, things are changing rapidly. Every 2 weeks, we have to release the product to the software or end-to-end environment. In that case, right, everything I cannot do manually. So I have to set up some pipeline, automation pipeline, or maybe a DevOps pipeline. For that, we need one CI/CD tool, which is called Jenkins. Am I clear, guys?
Yeah, then.
Yes.
Yes, Dinesh.
All right. Cool. So let's quickly. Guys, any more question with respect to Jenkins? I think I have completed theoretical. It is enough actually. We'll go with the practical. Any question till here?
No.
Fine. So let me go to my here. Close it. And I have my EC2 server, which is CentOS machine instance. I have one instance. Let me quickly start this instance. When you start this instance, you will get one more public IP address because we have starting, right? So let me close it and open my terminal. Okay. So quickly I will log into my server. I will log into server. Okay. Click on connect. And I will copy this SSH command. I'll go to CD downloads and then paste it this one. And what happened? Connection refused. SSH space hyphen I. Correct, right? Yes. Give yes. Okay. I have logged into CentOS machine now. And let me start my Jenkins. I think already I've installed the Jenkins and all. Jenkins space hyphen version. Jenkins is already available. Let me start the Jenkins. You know how to start the Jenkins? Sudo system ctl start Jenkins. I will start the Jenkins. Once your Jenkins is started, we will log into our screen. Okay. Yes, Jenkins is started. Now let me open our public IP address colon 8080. Let me open the new tab http colon / no, let me paste it colon 8080. Okay. Now I will give my username and then my password. Click on sign in. Okay. Now I can able to see the Jenkins. Guys, everyone install the Jenkins in your server. Did you try, guys? Have you tried?
No, sir, not yet.
Okay.
Tried, Dinesh.
Yeah. Try to
No,
complete. Yeah. So please complete today. Try to install the Jenkins. Okay. Fine. Now let me create a new item. New item means what, guys? What is a new item? What is a new item?
We are going to create a new file. That means new repository.
Yeah, it's a new project we can call. We can call new project, or you can call new item, or you can call new job. Job, item, project, all are refer same. Right? So I can give here one project, say this is a demo one, a project name, and I will give a style project. You know, it's a basic project. Let me click on OK. So if you want to give some description, you can give it. I already told you this is the demo one project. Like that, I am giving some description. No need to worry. Directly go with the build steps where I can add a build step. So I will go with the execute shell command. And inside the shell command, I can write some message. Suppose if you want to print, right, this is demo 2 file. Simple. I will return some message here. Right? Maybe I can put May 1. That's it. So directly I can just I'm checking, click on apply, click on save. Once you click on apply and click on save, and you can build your project, right? Under the dashboard, you can find it. Under the dashboard. So under the dashboard, it's a demo one project. And guys, this 3 dot indicates, you know, still I didn't execute, right? Status, it is saying status, still I didn't execute. That's the reason not build. It refers not build. Still I didn't execute, right? And if you see sun, right? Sun means everything looking fine. Your code is good actually. That refers sun. There is no failure. The code that you have written, right? That is good. Simple, I have written echo message, right? That is refers sun. But if you see this cloud symbol refers, you know, maybe there is a failure. Maybe sometime it got failed. That's the reason you can find it here, cloud symbol. And it is a project name I have given. And I didn't execute. That's the reason I don't see a last success and last failure and last duration and all. From here itself, you can build now, or otherwise you can click on this and then you can click on build now per wish. Okay. So let me click on build now. So when you click on build now, see it got executed and I can find right here. If you want to see the detailed information, click on console output. There you can find started by Dinesh Kumar, running as a system, and it created one workspace actually for us. We have created one project, right? That's the reason it created one workspace to us. And it is saying the message called this is demo 2 file May 1. So do you want to check that workspace whether it is available or not? Let me show. Let me show this one. Go to terminal. Here I will type cd command B, right? Or I can delete this demo 1. I can tell you how many workspace got created. And if we type ls space -al command, can you see? There are 2 workspaces already we have created, right? One is the demo 1 and demo. I can show you. So if you go with the dashboard, how many workspaces are available? Demo and demo 1, right? That workspaces is available inside your Jenkins workspace. This is the default directory /war/lib/Jenkins/workspace. And if you go inside this cd demo 1 and press enter, if I type ls space -al, you won't find any file because just I have written the print message. I don't have any file inside the demo 1 and all. Only I have written the print message. How can I see that one? No, we cannot see. Sorry, clear guys?
Yes, Dinesh.
So this is we have already completed in our previous session. Now I'm going to teach you how to integrate a Git up and your Jenkins. This is what I'm going to teach you now. How to integrate your GitHub and the Jenkins. Suppose I have already a code right inside the GitHub. That code I want to execute. Will I able to execute my GitHub code with the help of a Jenkins? That's the question. Can I able to execute my GitHub code with the help of a Jenkins? We have a GitHub repo, right? In GitHub repo, we have a code. Can I able to execute those projects with the help of a Jenkins? How to integrate? How to configure first? Are you getting my point? Yes or no? Will you able to understand? Yeah. So let me create a new item. And I can give a demo 3, it's a project name, and I can select the same preset project and click on OK. And for that, say this is demo 3 to understand a GitHub project execution. Like that, I have written some message. How to integrate? So here we have one option called source code management. Now the question is which project you are going to execute. So for that, let me open the new tab and I can go with the github.com. I can go with the github.com. Here we have many projects, right? I already created. So let me take one project from here. So I will take this one. I have some data structure using Java. Some code developer they have written actually. SRC is something they have written. I don't worry about the code and all. So can I able to execute this particular code? That's the question. So for that, you have to select a source code management, which is called Git. And then here you have to give the repository URL. Where I can find the repository URL? You can find the repository URL here, right? It's the remote repository URL. So you can copy this and just paste it over there. Just paste it. And it is a public repository. Public repository means you don't need to worry about giving the credential and all. Generally, if you are using the private repository in IT company, here you will give the username and you have to give the password. Instead of password, what you have to give? Remember what you have to give instead of password. What is that? Guys, don't you remember? In the Git session, I said, instead of password, what you need to give?
Token.
Yes, personal access token. Generally, you shouldn't share, your credential to other third-party tool. So for that, you can give a password. So what is the password you can give it? Say you can give this one, personal access token. So I'm using the public repository, so I don't need to, configure this credential and all. Simply, you just check it. What is the branch name? Don't forget, guys, check the branch name also. If I go with this, my branch name is master, then no need to worry. But if it is the branch is main, right, you have to change here. Instead of master, you have to give main. But here I can see it's a old project. That's the reason my branch name is master. I am using the old project. So let me apply and save it. Apply and save it. Now I'm going to execute this demo 3. You will see, click on build now. And it is started executed, and I can see the green symbol which indicates yes, success. See here, starting by the user Dinesh Kumar, running as a system, and it is building a workspace inside the /war/lib/Jenkins/workspace/demo3. Now let me copy this. And here I can paste it. Yes. Now if I type ls space -al, I can see demo3 project got created. CD demo3 press enter and space ls space -al. Can you see data structure.java file got created? So I will go inside the data structure. Data structure Java. And if I type ls space -al, I can see, right, src, everything I can able to see. All the file got copied. Or all the file got copied from the GitHub to your Jenkins, because you specified a location, right, inside the Jenkins. Now you can easily run your code from the Jenkins itself when you configure your GitHub with the Jenkins, right? So the recommendation Git tool is none, no credential specified, because I haven't given any credential and all, and it is cloning the code. See, it is cloning the code from this particular repository. Basically, we will used to write this command and all from the Git bash, but your Jenkins itself automatically doing cloning, initialization, configuration, is something, every checkout, every operation which is done by Jenkins itself. All this command got automated. You are not doing manually when you use the Jenkins. Only your work is to push the code to GitHub. That's it. Jenkins will take care of everything. And Jenkins is executing the script, and finally it is saying, hey, build is success. Are you clear how we can able to integrate with the Jenkins with a Git?
Clear.
Guys, remember, guys, if you ask me, where is the plugin? Where is the Git plugin? A Git plugin already we have installed in our 2-day session before. You remember when I launched my Jenkins, that time I asked the suggested plugin and installed the plugin. I went with the suggested plugin, right? So that time itself we got the Git actually. So if you want to check whether Jenkins is already having the Git, you can clearly understand from the manage Jenkins, and then you can go with the manage plugin. When you go with the manage plugin, here already installed plugins are available. You can clearly see that there is a Git plugin. Can you see Git client plugin already got installed? Git plugin already installed. That's the reason we don't have any problem. Suppose if you don't have this plugin in your Jenkins, you cannot integrate GitHub and Jenkins. You will get an error. You cannot integrate your GitHub with the Jenkins. When you have this plugin, then only you can able to integrate your GitHub and Jenkins. That's the purpose of a plugin. That is the purpose of your plugin. So now it's saying, right, demo 3 success, sun refers success, demo 3. W means weather, right? It's a weather. 3 minutes 25 seconds ago, your last success got happened, and there is no failure, not applicable. How much time it has taken? 0.55 seconds, less than 1 minute. Okay. Any question? Yes or
No,
no? So once again, if you want to build it, here you can click on, that's it. Automatically, you can see the another build. See, second build got executed. Now 1040, right? 410. So click on this. Now I can see the console output. It got executed again and build is success. Suppose if you don't want this build, if you want to delete this build, you can delete it from the UI itself. Just click on delete build to and you can delete it. Now, if you see the demo 3 project, I can see only one build. I don't see another build. Suppose if you want to delete this particular project itself, you can delete it. When you delete, you cannot return it back. You cannot revert it, remember. So you don't have a demo 2 project also. It got deleted. Now, suppose if you have a demo 1 project, I want to edit this particular file. How can I edit this one? So left hand side, can you see configure? Left hand side, you can find the configure. When you click on this, you guys can configure. Suppose I'm going to configure the URL, GitHub URL. So I can click on this Git and let me take this time another project. Say I want to build this particular April Git session. I want to build this particular job. So let me copy this URL and then paste it. And make sure what is the branch name. Branch name is main, not a master. Then you have to change the branch name also here. Let me change to main actually. That's it. Click on apply and click on save. Now let me click on build now. And this will create another job. It is also success. If I see the console output, can you see here? Build got success. And if you want to see this particular code, right, you can go for workspace, guys. Can you see the workspace here? Click on this workspace. Here you can see the entire project inside your workspace also. Test1.txt. This is what, right? This is what available inside your workspace. Right? If you want all the files in the zip folder, you can download it as well. So config is the place where you can edit your project. And suppose if you want to rename your project, you can rename it here. Any question till here?
No, Dinesh.
Okay. See, generally, you know now how to integrate your GitHub and Jenkins. But the question is, suppose how to schedule your Jenkins? Can I able to schedule your Jenkins? Can I able to schedule your Jenkins? What is mean by scheduling? What does mean by scheduling? Scheduling means for a particular period of time, I want to execute. Say for an example, every day or every 2 minutes, generally, not 2 minutes, maybe I want to execute every day at 2 p.m. or 2 a.m. or 2 a.m. I need to execute my code. Every day 2 a.m. Monday to Sunday, every day morning 2 a.m. I want to execute my code. Like that, we can able to schedule it as well with help of a Jenkins. Do you know backup? Same. But backup is different. In backup, we have discussed this one. How to schedule. Do you remember in the backup, EBS backup, I said something about the scheduling? Yes or no? Don't you remember?
Yes, Dinesh.
So in the same way, in Jenkins also, we can schedule it. So for that, there is a job called cron job. Cron jobs. So I can show here cronjob.org. So here, say click on start now. Okay, I will go with some other URL, cron jobs guru. Yes, this one. Yep. Say for an example here, there are 5 stars. This star refers day of the week. There are 7 days, right? Day of the week. Star refer month. There are 12 months, month. This one, day of the month. This one, hour. And this one is a minute. Suppose let me write 2 star. Then it means that every 2 minutes, at 2 minutes, your code will execute. Your code will execute. It means that Jenkins will build your job. Suppose let me write like this 2 1. It means that sharply at 1 2 your code will be executed. So if I write 1 year, so month first date, right? Month first date, date 1, your 1 2 AM, your script will be executed. So like that, you can able to do the cron job. This is called cron job. You can explore more from this website later. So how to build your job periodically. You can build the job periodically with the help of a cron job. So in Jenkins, if you go with this particular project, let me click on configure and say here there is a build triggers option. Inside the build trigger, there are different ways in which we can do the build trigger. Here we have one option called build periodically. What is it refer? It refers at what time or at what instant you need to trigger your job. Suppose if I write 2 star, let me write h by 2 actually. Basically, here we have to write the h by 2. So it means that, so it will execute your run at the 10:46:58 AM. So it means that maybe after 2 minutes, your code will be executed. Let me make it as h by 4. And here it will change it to 48. Suppose if I make here 5, it will change from again 5 minutes later. So it will build periodically based on the cron job you are giving. Whatever the cron job you are giving, right? Based on that, you can able to trigger your job. So what will happen when you select this one? After 5 minutes, automatically there is a build means. Automatically your code will be executed. Let us check actually. So instead of, okay, 10 by 5, let me apply and save this one. And here, wait for 2 minutes or 1 minute. You just check it here. As of now, it is not building, right? But wait for 1 minute. Let's check what is happening. Wait for 1 or 2 minutes, your script will start executing. Can you see here? Yes or no? Yes or no, guys?
Yes, Ganesh.
So
Yeah,
this is how you can build your script periodically. See, suppose if I write like this, I will write 0 space 0 star. What do you think, guys? What is the meaning of this one? What is the meaning of this one? What do you think? 0 0 star. What is the meaning of this one?
12 AM.
Exactly. Every day 12 AM. Every day 12 AM, your script will be executed. Every day 12 AM, automatically your script will be executed. it will clone the code from the GitHub and then it will execute. So this is how you can schedule build periodically. Suppose, can anyone tell me, say for an example, every 1 hour I need to build my code. How? Every 1 hour. How? Can anyone tell me? Every 1 hour means?
So through cron tab guru, we can say that.
Yeah, you just okay. I can show that website. You tell me. Every 1 hour means what I need to do?
In the place of hour, we can say the 1. And the
1 hour
remaining will
star.
be
No. 1 hour star.
maybe 1.
Yeah. Okay. 1. Okay. This one? Day?
Remaining will be star, I think.
Okay, let me put it star. This one also star. So it's saying at every minute past 1 hour.
Yeah.
It will execute every minute, right? For 1 hour. Yes or no?
Okay.
The meaning is different.
For every 1 hour, it will execute.
No, for every 1 hour, every minute it will execute. But if you put 0, star means at the minute 0, right? Every 1 hour, your script will be executed. 5 p.m., 6 p.m., 7 p.m., every 1 hour, your script will be executed. Aman, are you clear?
Yes, sir. Clear.
Can you tell me every month, last Friday? Every month, last Friday? Can anyone tell me? Can you guys check this one and tell me? Okay, guys. Maybe you guys just invest your time on this cron tab group, and they have given the detailed explanation. You just change it and see what's the difference. Fine. Fine.
Yeah.
I have a question, guys. What is the drawback if you go with the build periodically? I'm saying there's a drawback if you go with the build periodically. What is that? Yes, we have one drawback. When you go with the scheduling your build periodically, what is that? What do you think? Where maybe we have a problem? Because when we need to execute our code, when we should execute our code, whenever, every time or whenever if there is a changes.
When there is changes.
When there is a changes, right? But if you give build periodically, you are going to give some schedule. Say for an example, every 1 hour. What if your script, there is no changes, but still we are executing, right? We cannot tell, right? Every 1 hour there is a changes which is done by the developer. Can we tell like that?
No.
No, right? We cannot say like that one. So, and then unnecessarily, Jenkins is executing. Unnecessarily, Jenkins is generating some kind of report and logs, memory, everything is waste, right? Why should I execute every 1 hour? Why should I execute every 2 minutes? How we know, like the developer, they made changes or not, right? No, we don't know. So in that case, if there is a changes in the GitHub, then only I need to execute. Can I go with that option? Yes or no?
Yeah.
So here we have an option called poll SCM. Poll SCM. Here also, maybe you can add the cron pattern. But here what it indicates, right? After 2 minutes, it will go to your GitHub and it will check, is there any changes? If there is a changes, then only it will execute. But if you go with the build periodically, it will not look like is there any changes and all. At every 2 minutes, it will execute from the GitHub. It will pick the code, it will execute. But if you go with the poll SEM, it will go ahead and it will check the GitHub. Is there any changes? If there is a changes, then only execute. Are you getting my point? Yes, sir. What is poll SEM?
Yeah.
So let me apply and save this, and you will understand this. And I can see get polling log, right? When you click on this, polling has not yet run. There is no polling actually. And let me check at what time our polling will be started. Our polling will start at, where is that? Polling will start at 10:56. Okay, I think this is the time. I can go once again, get polling log. Can you see? It got executed. Yes or no? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Yes, now tell me, if I select build periodically, now the time is 4:26. 4:28 also it will execute, right? Yes or no? Yes or no?
Yeah.
4:30 also it will execute. 4:32 also it will execute. But if you select the Git poll, it will not execute unless or until you make some changes. But I am going to make some changes. Say for an example, other developer, they are doing some changes here. Click on say edit, and I am writing one more test 2 like that, and I'm going to commit this particular changes and commit this changes. And I have updated my file. But let us check Jenkins. Is there any changes? It will execute, guys. Let's see. 4:28 will, it will take the latest code and it will execute. Let's wait. Definitely it will execute. The reason because I made the changes, right? Yes. I made the changes. So it is executing now. So I can refresh. My poll got started and it is completed. 5th build also got success. It has taken the latest changes. But if you are not doing any changes, right? Your code will not execute. Now tell me which is the optimized way. Whether do we need to go for with the build periodically or Git poll SEM?
It's Git poll SEM.
Exactly. Git poll SEM. Because Git poll SEM, it will react only if there is a changes. And see guys, any changes happen to the GitHub. Who is monitoring? Jenkins is monitoring.
Yeah.
Every 2 minutes Jenkins will monitor. But we have one more way, which is more effective way. In GitHub, there is a section called webhooks. There is a setup called webhooks. What this webhooks will do, when you have any changes you are doing right in your GitHub, this webhook will send the notification to the Jenkins. Thereby, Jenkins will build. Remember, there are 3 options. One option periodically. Every time Jenkins, whatever the time period that you are mentioning, that time it should execute. The second one, poll SEM, in the same way, every time Jenkins will go ahead and it will check the GitHub. Is there any change? It will execute. If there is no changes, it will not execute. But there is another option called webhooks. What is webhooks? When you make any changes on the GitHub, GitHub will send the notification to Jenkins to execute. Then there is no requirement, right? Jenkins should go ahead and will check is there any changes. That and all not required by the Jenkins. Webhook itself sends some kind of alarm, some notification to the Jenkins. Now tell me which one is more effective way, second way or third way?
Third way is better.
Third way is better, right? This way I will tell you tomorrow because I need to configure some Nginx servers and all. But in general, in IT company, most of the people, they are not going with the first one and second one. They are going with the third one. I will tell you tomorrow. Third way, I will tell you tomorrow. Any more question? Guys, any question?
No, sir.
Okay. So now I'm going to teach you one more topic, which is email notification. Email notification in Jenkins. Email notification Jenkins. Say for an example, your script is successfully executed or failed, whatever the reason, because your developers and tester, product owner and scrum master should get some email notification. Once your script got executed, once your pipeline or maybe a Jenkins job got executed, they should get some notification. Can I able to configure email notification inside Jenkins? Yes. You guys can able to configure email notification inside the Jenkins. How to configure email notification inside the Jenkins? That's what we are going to discuss now. These are all one-time setup, guys, in real time. Generally, if you join a company, if you are the replacement, already people, they have already completed. But if the project is starting from the scratch, you have to take up the responsibility to complete or to build this kind of environment. As a DevOps engineer, it is your role. Now, how to configure an email notification inside your Jenkins? It is very straightforward, very easy as well. Now I will go with this, guys. In the Jenkins world, one of the topmost feature, which is manage Jenkins, everything you can see inside this manage Jenkins option only. Every setup, every configuration, every changes, basically we will do inside the manage Jenkins option. Do not forget this particular term. So if you want to configure an email notification, there is a field called a configure system under system configuration. So you just click on this configure system under the system configuration. And here, can you see here? I told you already, already a default directory where your workspace will be created, which is /var/lib/Jenkins. This is the default directory inside your Jenkins. Remember, it is a default directory. Interview also people might ask where your default Jenkins folder will exist. You have to tell /var/lib/Jenkins. If you type ls-al command, you can find all those files are available inside the Jenkins folder.
Yeah, sure. Today.
Okay, everything you can find it under the /var/lib and Jenkins folder. Let's see, here itself you can find the plugins also, right? Can you see plugins? So if you want to see what is the plugin CD, there are many plugins are available, right? Plugins. When you plugins, and if you type ls-al, I can see all the plugins we have installed, guys. Whatever the plugins we have installed, that you can find it here. Everything. Fine. So let me come below. Here, in order to configure your email notification, there is a field called email notification. Can you see email notification? You can able to configure under your configure system from the system configuration tab. email notification you can configure here. Generally, SMTP refers simple mail transfer protocol. Your email follows a protocol called simple mail transfer protocol. So no need to worry about, right? It's a protocol. It's a SMTP server. So in general, in real time, you will get the SMTP server address or URL. You will get it from your higher management. But I'm going to use my Gmail. So if you want to understand, curious to know what is the SMTP server for Gmail or Google, just press enter. You can find it here. This is the SMTP server URL. So you just, paste it here, smtp.gmail.com. And what is the default user email suffix? My domain name is gmail.com, right? Generally, it's the default user email suffix. It's a domain name. And this thing, you will get it from the company. Generally, they will configure some Microsoft Outlook and all. So they will give it to you. So you have to configure this SMTP server and default user email suffix. And click on advanced. And here you have to, if you want to do the SMTP server authentication, you can click on this SMTP authentication. Which email ID that you want to authenticate? Which email ID I'm going to authenticate? My email ID I'm going to authenticate. My email ID I'm going to authenticate. And you have to give the password. I already told you, do not share your own password to any third-party system. For GitHub, we have generated personal access token. For your Gmail also, you can generate some password called app password. There is a password called app password you can generate. So how to generate that app password, I will tell you. Listen here. Let me. Okay, so I will tell you how to generate the app password. So you will click on this, manage your Google account, right? Click on this. And here, there is a security, right? Or otherwise, directly in the search box, you can type app password. What you can type? App password. Here you can find app password. Is there any app password? No. So click on security and then type app password. What happened? No, 1 minute. Let me show. Security. And here also we have a password. Go to security, signing into Google, select app password. Yes. Okay. So if you want to use the app password, I should have the two-step verification. So let me go back. And two-step sign in. That is the two-step verification. Yes, here. Click on this and I will get started. And I have to give my username, password, right? Password, I can give it. I've given the password and I can set the message also. Click on next. And I have to enter the code. 1 minute. So go to next. Yes, turn on. So two-step verification I have turned on. Now let me check the app passwords. App passwords. Here. Click on app password. And if you want to select some mail, you can select the mail. And if you are using some mobile, right, Windows phone or Windows computer, whatever the device that you're using, you have to select that one. When you click on generate, right, it will generate some password for you. This is the password you have to use. This is the password, you have to use it. And you have to configure that into your mobile or maybe a laptop, your wish. So it is called app password. It means that you are not sharing your password. You are sharing the app password. Thereby, they cannot log into your Gmail and all. Just they can able to send some kind of authentication. That's it. Are you clear?
Yeah. Then.
Yes, miss.
So I already have a app password. So I will use this app password and then I can use it here. I can use it. And so if you want to do the SMTP authentication, you have to configure SSL also, just to configure SSL. That's it. And do you know what is the default port number of Gmail? 465, guys. Remember, default port number for Gmail is 465. So 465 is the default port number. This is what you can find it here, 465. So come below. So suppose if you want to test it, whether it is working or not, let me click on this and I can send some email to my email ID. We'll check whether it is working or not. Just I'm testing oranium@gmail.com. Right? So test email was successfully sent. So let me check it whether it is successfully sent or not. So where is that? Yeah. Okay, can you see here? This test email sent from the Jenkins. I can see, right? A test email got. But one problem, address not configured. From address, it is not available. So let me configure the from address also. Go to the Jenkins, where we can find one option called system admin. Like that, is there any option? System admin. Where is that system admin? Yes, TP server, get plugin, GitHub, timestamper, folder, statistics, pipeline, system message. Okay, let's go check the system. Yes, here one. This is the address not configured, right? That's the reason you are seeing that particular message here. So let me change it. I can give same mail ID also, no problem. oranium@gmail.com, like that. Right? I can apply and then come below. Let me check the test configuration now. Email was successfully sent. And here, now I don't see like, yes or no? Comment. So what I have configured? I have given this one, but how the mail is from Dinadas?
We are showing a different email address.
Where is that?
We have mentioned a different email address, but showing a different one.
Yeah, different one. I think it is take. No. So it is here, but with Dinadas, where it is taking actually? Oh, here I have given Dinadas. This name it is taking as a username. Suppose if I give this one, but it will not work right this time. We'll see. Because I didn't authenticate that one. When you authenticate, then only I can get it. Otherwise, I can see the error. Okay. I think it is taking from here. This is weird. Okay. L for feature system admin email address. Okay, let me check this one. I will tell you tomorrow. But meanwhile, are you clear with how this email configuration we can trigger?
Yes.
Guys, everyone clear how to configure the email?
Yes, Dinesh.
Yes.
Okay, no problem. Any questions so far? How to trigger email?
No.
But suppose if you have a job, guys, if you have this particular job, and this job, I'm going to click on configure. I'm going to click on configure. Only 1 minute, guys. Okay, guys. So after the build step, we have a post build action. Can you see the post build action? After your script is executed, what you need to do? I need to send the email, right? So you can click on this, and here there is a email notification. There is a email notification. And here you have to mention who is your recipient. Who is your recipient? So, say for an example, I can give my email address. I can give my email address or this one. This is the email address. I can give it and send email for every unstable bit. Maybe I uncheck that one. That's it. Once my script is executed, right? Email will be sent when build file becomes unstable or returns to a stable. So let me click on apply and click on save. Right? So I will click on build now. And my 6th build started actually. And I have to check, is there any email is available? No. Okay, I can click on this sole output. Is it saying any email sent? No, I don't see. Let me check with the help of configure. This is 6th bit. And click on configure. And then I already click on this one. Workspace separated list of recipient address may reference build parameter like not dollar parameter. Email will be sent when a build fail becomes unstable or returns to stable. Double email notification. Jenkins. Click on apply, click on save. Demo. Build now. It's completed. No emails were triggered. Yes, this thing I will check and let you know tomorrow. But as of now, leave it. So I will tell you that tomorrow. So any question till here? So just to leave this one. How to trigger after job is completed, I will check and let you know. But any other question?
No, Dinesh.
No,
So
Dinesh.
are you clear with the GitHub and Jenkins integration and also how to test a SMTP server? This two part you are clear?
Yes.
So I think you are not installed the Jenkins and all. Please try to complete that one and do not, delete the instance from the AWS. Just to stop it. Tomorrow we'll continue from that part. Right? Tomorrow is the last day for Jenkins. Day after tomorrow we'll go with the Ansible. So again, tomorrow also you guys can plan it for 2 hours. I will try to complete as much I can with the Jenkins. So tomorrow again, we are going to take one important topic which is called the master slave architecture. So once it is completed, you are good to go with the Jenkins. And later, anyway, when we cover any tool, right, like Ansible, Docker, Kubernetes and all, every time we will come with the Jenkins and we will do the integration. Fine.
Only this much, only Dinesh, like in Jenkins.
On tomorrow, we are going to cover 2 or 3 topics. After that, when we cover the new topic, right, that time we should integrate the Jenkins. So Jenkins is not completed yet. Till the final day session, we need to deal with the Jenkins.
Okay.
Because as I mentioned, right, everything we have to automate. All the automation where we are automating, the tool called Jenkins. This is the complete CI/CD process.
Dinesh, we have this Kubernetes in this DevOps session.
Yeah, we are going to create a cluster. Correct. We have a 2-day session.
Okay.
So the list of topic we planned like Git, Jenkins, Maven, Ansible, Docker, Kubernetes, Terraform, ELK. So this is the major topic every IT company wants. So this 8 major tool we will try to complete first. Chalo guys, we'll see tomorrow guys. Thank you. Bye.